welcome to Dicebaker, where today I'm going to be making something board game related. Surprise, surprise. Disclaimer, although I enjoy baking, I'm no master baker, so this could be very hit and miss. It'll either come out really well, and then I get lots of cookies that I can eat, or it'll come out really terrible. And then I will bring all the cookies into the office for everyone else to eat. Yay! The game that I'm going to be baking today is Azul. So if you're not familiar with Azul already, Wheels has actually very recently done a lovely review video on essentially why you should play it, because it's a really great game. It's just a tile laying game that's really pretty, and it comes with these tiles that are incredibly edible, or at least they look very edible. So I'm going to make some cookies that look like those tiles. So the cookie making part should be alright. I should be okay with that, I think. It's the decorating part that'll be more interesting, because some of the designs are a little bit intricate and I have never really done any intricate designs on some cookies. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to get started and measure some ingredients. So let's do that. Alright, so I'm going to start by getting some caster sugar. I need 170. Ooh. Now that we've measured all the ingredients, let's start putting them together. I've obviously measured the golden syrup directly into the bowl because I looked ahead and I saw that the golden syrup was going to go in first. We've got the old caster sugar, butter, which I was supposed to soften before I put it in, but oh, there you go. That's that. For the fun part. Oh my lord, this is so... That butter is way too hard. Ah! To get rid of the big old lumps that are in there, I'm going to try my electric mixer, because it does actually technically say to use the electric mixer, but mine can be a bit boisterous and can get a bit messy, so let's get a go. Alright, so that electric mixer worked out very well. It says to mix it until you've kind of got like little to no butter lumps, which I think is about right here. And now I need to add the flour and all the other stuff, so I'm going to do that. So the dough wasn't really coming out right, and I think part of it might have been my really bad mixing skills. So I've called out the big guns. Alright, so now that we've got our lovely dough, we need to just pop it out onto a clean work surface, divide it into two, squash it down, and I'm going to cover it in cling film and put it in the fridge for a bit to chill. Alright, so while that dough was chilling in the fridge, I had to run to the shop because I forgot I didn't have grease-proof paper. So that was fun. I had to run down to the shop earlier as well because I didn't have enough butter. So Yay me. Next, what we're gonna do is I've just taken out the dough and we're gonna put it in between 2 sheets of greaseproof paper, and then we're gonna just roll it out to about 5 millimeters in thickness, and then as it is as a flat sheet in between the greaseproof paper, I'm gonna stick it in the fridge for half an hour where it's gonna chill, and I'm also gonna chill. So the dough and myself got some time to chill and it's nice and firm. So now what we're going to do is cut out the shapes. I don't have a cutter in the shape of a square, so I kind of just made my own, and I'm going to use a knife to cut out the shapes. And then we're going to stick them in the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. It does say to check them at 20 minutes, and because I'm making the vanilla ones, we're looking for a kind of golden brownish colour. I've run out of space to cut, so I'm gonna roll this back up, roll it out again, and get cutting again. I'm gonna make them a little bit thinner because I realized as I was cutting them that it was actually quite thick in the middle. Right, so here's a batch. Let's stick them in the oven. The 20-minute timer has just gone off, so time to have a look and check on them as per the recipe. Let's have a look. Looks about right. Biscuits are out. These are the first ones I kind of did, and they're a bit uneven, so I'll either cut them to size or I've got more which I've kind of cut a bit more evenly. But either way, I need to let them cool for a while before I can do the fancy stuff, which is the decorating, which I'm actually quite excited about, but also a bit nervous. So the second batch is out of the oven. They're a little bit more even, just a bit of a nicer shape as well. And I've got 2 more batches in the oven as well. The recipe that I'm using is technically for 24 cookies, which is probably a bit of an overkill for what I'm trying to do here. But either way, we're going to have lots of opportunity to make mistakes with the decorating in a moment. And the other cookies or biscuits should be ready momentarily also. So very soon we will be decorating. Just playing the waiting game. All of the biscuits are officially out of the oven, and you'll see over here that for some of the first batches I've started cutting off the edges to make them more square because I am a perfectionist and I would like them to be as square as I can possibly get them. I'm going to do that with all the rest of them as well, and then I'm going to start on the icing. Time to make some icing. It's super simple. All you do is add water to icing sugar, and depending on the consistency you're going for, you're going to add a certain amount of either one. I'm gonna start by making the icing that I'm gonna use for the border, because what I'm gonna do after that is make a slightly runnier version of that color, and so I can flood the biscuit. So essentially I'm gonna just make the biscuit one color, and then once I've done that, I'm going to do some details as well. I'm gonna sift the icing sugar because this one's quite lumpy, and I found in the past when I haven't sifted it, it's come out quite lumpy, like the icing. The border icing is supposed to be kind of more on the thick side because it needs to, first of all, hold its shape a bit better, but also hold the flooded icing in. The recipe says that you want the border one to be kind of the texture of toothpaste, so it's really quite thick. What I'm going to start with is, because I really want to do this first player token, and because it's white, I'm going to start with that because obviously it means that I just don't add any color, and then I can move on to something else by adding color using the same icing. Alright, I think this is definitely it. Let's do it. So I've got a little piping bag here where I've put one which has a tiny little hole, tiny little nozzle. Hopefully it's the right size. It was the smallest one I had, so I'm sure it'll be fine. And I'm only going to do one biscuit in this colour, and this is literally just for the border, so I don't want to put like too much of this in, because otherwise it's just wasted. We've made a start. To flood this now, it says to use a little like squeezy bottle. I only have one and I'm using it for something else. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna use a spoon, because I only put a tiny bit of water in there and it like instantly became much runnier. And I think that's probably as runny as I'd want it to be honest. I'm gonna let that set for like a minute just to make sure that the flooding doesn't just like press this out. So I've waited a minute, I can't be bothered waiting anymore, so I'm just gonna go in with the flooding. And I'm gonna take it like a little bit at a time, kind of. It does actually say to start, like with the flooding, start in the center and kind of push it out. Lovely. Alright, I'm going to put that aside to set before I show it to you properly. And whilst I wait for that to set, I'm going to start on the next biscuit. While I'm waiting for that first one to kind of set a bit more before I start decorating that kind of one into it for the first player token, I'm going to start making, well, I've started making the next batch of icing. So it's currently this very light blue because I put a single droplet of this navy blue food coloring in. Essentially what I'm thinking is I can do one of these just whole colored ones, which is just one color, and I can use the same blue for doing the number 1 in the first white one. So by the time I've kind of done, I'm going to do 1 or 2 of the biscuits in the blue, maybe even 3, because I've got 24 of them. How does this work out mathematically? So I've eaten 1 biscuit. One of them, the last biscuit that I kind of made, I'm not going to decorate. I've got one player token, and then I've got 5 different designs, and that leaves me with 20. So I can do 4 of each. I'm going to do 4 of each. So all in all, I've added 4 drops of this navy blue, and I've not been measuring any of the icing or water. I've just kind of been making it how much I think I need. I've got quite a dark blue actually, which I think should be alright. I'm not going to get the exact right colour, but what can you do? Here we go. Biscuit number 2. Let's get this boy back. Look at that. How nice is that? Ooh. Ooh. A little bit of runoff. And so I'm gonna do this design, or I'm gonna attempt to do this design on here. Let's start with the 1. I think this is about as good as I'm gonna get it. Here we are. The first player token from Azul. Number 1 is done, quite literally, so moving on. I'm gonna just quickly flood, well, I'm gonna try and be quick about it, flood these lads. Alright, so I've added some water. Nice and loosey-goosey. Plain blue. Not much to it, really. As I said, I'm going to try and go for this one. So I'm going to do very much the same as before. I'm essentially just going to do some icing paste, and then I'm going to add in the yellow to make the background, first of all. First and foremost. Adding some of that yellow. I'm going to add 1 drop to start and see how that comes out. Oh wow. That is super yellow, like luminous. I'm kind of after more of an orangey kind of sunset yellow. I think I had like an orange red, that's red, orange red. Oh, okay, this is more like it. It looks quite yellow, but it looks like mustard actually. So I'm gonna add 1 more drop of the orangey, what's it called, orangey red? And I can always add a bit more yellow. My camera is really not picking it up very well, but it looks quite orange. Actually, it's about right. Numero uno, oops. Lovely, just enough to do 4. And now I shall add a tiny bit of water. Oh my lord, look at this for absolute perfection. 4 of them done. Alright, I'm going to put them aside to dry. And what I'm going to do then is mix together a red icing, which I'm going to use to do the decorative bits on that. And also do the red biscuits. Does that look about right? I mean, it's a bit lighter, but it will be fine. Okay. Whew. I'm doing a cross in the middle. Quite a small one if I can. Boop. And boop. And then I've got curly whirlies. That's what I'm gonna call those. So I'm gonna go curl and up. Curl and up. And in. And then off of that is this wing I was called. Wing. And and a swing to the middle. Oops, that's a bit of a mess. Oh well. For that is the second thing I've ever iced. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. You know, you kind of get it. Once again, just the right amount. I think I'm gonna leave it there, to be honest. So, there we are. Thank you very much for watching the very first ever Dicebaker. I hope you enjoyed it. I will post a picture of all the cookies together once they've dried. I'll take a nice picture of them all. As always, we've got loads of other videos for you to check out, which should be popping up right around the bottom of my head right about now. If you'd like to subscribe to find out when we launch more videos, we launch more videos constantly. There should be a subscribe button popping up right about now, which you can click. And if you'd like to be notified when we launch more videos, then you can also click the bell button, which will notify you of such an occasion. Thank you again for watching and have a lovely day.